Terrorblade is a hard counter to Lifestealer, so not too bad. Nake says no way of dealing with illusions, and we kind of have like what we saw yesterday with NP and EG is that Lifestealer up against Centaur, so I imagine they might do something similar, try to roam a bit with the 2 supports, win some other lanes.
Everyone, I'm sad that Invoker got banned now, but
First
I guess
2 by EG.
It is Liquid would pick it first 2. I don't think that EG would do that for Samil, but Liquid would definitely for Miracle.
There's the Slardar.
We saw yesterday. It was the only game they won as well.
So we've Lifestealer Slardar now against Terrorblade. It's like Terrorblade's actually one of the better heroes against this combination. I think it's very likely that Liquid's going to pick some sort of defensive support here. So as long as you can save Terrorblade from initially being bursted down and allow him to get his Sunder off, then EG might have a lot of trouble.
There's a big respect ban on the Earth Spirit as well in round 1 from Team Liquid.
Yeah, I don't know how much they play it. I think, who plays it on Liquid? GH or Kuroki?
GH, I think, but they haven't played it that much themselves.
Yeah, it's not like a standout hero like it is for a lot of other teams.
Yeah, and we have seen Crit played a lot.
Definitely.
But you're saying saving supports, and Dazzle is already on the side of EG. Io is already banned out. Warlock banned out. Do you consider Crystal Maiden a saving support?
No, I don't.
Okay, so what's left?
Vengeful Spirit, Winter Wyvern,
Alright.
Shadow Demon.
Would you say they all fit in what Liquid has so far?
I mean, I don't like them that much pairing with Crystal Maiden. Venge could be okay with Crystal Maiden, but we've seen a lot of Crystal Maiden at this tournament, and I have been a huge fan of the hero. So it'll be interesting to see like why they picked it up and why they think it's going to be nice here.
Another huge surprise to see the Darkseer come out after the Slardar.
Yeah, so we're going to have that 4-position Slardar for Zai, and then Universe is going to play that Darkseer. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and we know those combinations.
Yeah, they like that a lot as well, don't they?
Slardar is like, we don't really see a lot of core Slardar anymore. He's really kind of support, and in the same way with like Earth Spirit, he just kind of pairs well with Darkseer, especially in the early game. And Slardar is one of those supports that needs like Tranquil Boots and a Blink, and he's set. He's ready to go.
Is that a saving?
A Necro.
Mid?
That's a first.
Ish. I mean, you're not going to play Necrophos support?
Right? I think it's possible for it to be a Terrorblade mid as well, and then I don't know. I think Necrophos. Who does better in lane against Darkseer? I think Necrophos might.
Well, with Crystal Maiden, Terrorblade could do just fine. Yeah, Frostbite the.
Yeah, but if you're frostbiting the Ion Creep, then you're not doing anything to the Darkseer.
It's true.
Because Crystal Maiden's gonna right click a Darkseer who has the shield.
Yeah.
And she's gonna do like
nothing.
18 damage a click or something, which is put offset with some regen there, Tango regen. He's doing like 10 damage a click. Not even. So
Necrophos safe lane, or rather, depending on where EG puts their lanes, Necrophos against Darkseer, you think that's a better option?
I don't know what's a better option. I have to wait and see what their last pick is. Because I think that the support options, it's so, I imagine, like, it's weird when you last pick your support hero. I'm not a huge fan of it, especially, I think, who had first pick in this game? I think EG did?
EG did, yeah.
They first picked the Lifestealer, so Team Liquid has chosen to save their very last pick of the game for their support hero, which is pretty uncommon, and I don't think it's very good.
EG has last pick.
EG has last pick.
Because EG already banned, so Liquid's going to ban them.
Okay.
EG.
Cool. So it was first pick Centaur and then Dazzle Lifestealer. Okay. I kind of came in late.
Yeah, no, we all did. So.
Cool. Okay, so that makes more sense. I guess they were potentially worried about Necrophos being banned, I suppose. They're a team that has played it before.
Yeah.
I think Matumba Man will likely play it, and then Miracle will play the Terrorblade. But from what I've seen of Liquid this tournament is Miracle's playing a lot of safe lane, or like a lot of side lane, and Matumba Man's been going mid.
What I've also seen this tournament is that Liquid's not doing great.
That's true.
Perhaps there's a correlation there.
Yeah, he did only have, I think it was given the Invoker in one game yesterday, which they won.
Yeah, and they won handedly. It was 23-0-12, something outrageous like that.
Yes. But we know that he's not just a one hero.
Oh,
he's got a fair amount that he can play at a high level. So
Last pick Sumail Hero. Hype.
Yeah, he's happy. He knows.
Alchemist still in the pool.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
I'm not sure
beaten
they'll go back.
anti-mage
Will they
today.
go back for the Elk, Peter? After not
I don't know.
doing very well yesterday with it, and then...
It's not the best here up against Terrorblade and Necrophos, I think. I'm curious what Sumail will play.
He already made the okay
Lich.
sign there.
Lich.
Lich! Is that a saving support?
It's not, but the ice armor is nice.
I mean,
and
it helps.
It is useful.
Offsets
Centaur
the
could,
crow's face?
if they can take the game long enough, Centaur could just get Ags and can save people with that.
So where does Sumail go now?
I think
What
we're
do we
going
want
to
him on?
see it here that he's not, that he doesn't play a lot. I'm trying to think maybe like maybe Dragon Knight. I know it's like pretty out there.
We have Sim one already.
But
today.
yeah, not we don't often see Sumail in that hero.
No. Instead of Lena.
Okay, Lena's cool.
Okay.
That's a hero that Sumail used to play all the time back at, I think it was last DAC.
Yeah.
It was Lena Lesh meta.
Yeah,
When
that's
he
the one.
first came out to China.
Yeah, he's
When
very
he first
dominant.
announced himself. Yeah, indeed. All right, thank you very much, Peter and Shiva. Of course, we'll catch up with them after our first game. Which way is this going then? Let's hand it over to our commentary team for Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid.
This should be one hell of a game. And I'm happy to be here with Ben Malini, the Prophet Wu.
What?
Who saw the Lena coming in at the very end.
We watched TI5.
We
It was
did.
all about the Lena.
Yeah,
And
we
they-
also watched the earlier games from today where the Lena was just ripping. From yesterday where the Lena was just ripping apart in the mid.
I think Lena's really good here because they needed something versus the Ghost Shroud, and they need some AoE clear for the Terrorblade, and
Yep.
kind of fits both bills. And it's a Sumail hero, so also pretty good.
We should be happy we're actually casting a game where there's clearance for a Terrorblade.
Yeah, most of the games Terrorblade just wins super easily.
Yeah.
No one can do anything about it. It's ridiculous.
We saw it in our series we cast early today on the second stream, and that was where we had the VS, which the panel was looking for something like that saving support, and it was like, okay, you initiate the Terrorblade, and then you're swapped away, and that game actually you're also up against a live stealer, so the kiting was huge in that as well. Now you add Lich, so now you add Frost Armor into it, the slow attack, the potential Frost Blast, the fear of, I don't know if you're going to fear Chain Frost that much. Like, where does the Lich actually fit in?
Ice armor versus
everything.
life stealer and slaughter. They thought they
That's
were.
it?
Well, they could have potentially all in committed for physical damage. EG did have last pick, but they still could have picked, like, let's say TA slaughter, or Shadow Fiend, for example, too.
Yeah.
These heroes are pretty decent, but don't synergize terribly well against the Terrorblade. So Shadow Fiend probably would have been a little bit better, I would say, if they actually wanted to get it. But yeah, when you see that much armor, Terrorblade, ton of armor, Lich. And Ghost Shroud too. You don't really want a physical damage base because their lineup aside from that is just Ion Shell pretty much. That was pretty much the only magical damage they had before this pick.
Yeah, so the Lena kind of fills up a little bit more of that. But you're right, like I'm thinking more and more about it as Team Liquid get tankier and tankier with Necro plus even the Centaur. So do they have enough sustained damage, EG? Like, do you have to turn the Lena into this kind of physical DPSer going into the game and just use the mid-game magical burst damage that she offers?
Sorry, I was distracted by
The-
Zai's effigy.
Yeah, don't. We're not going to bring that up on stream because we're good people.
It's in the game, dude.
It's, yeah, fantastic. So people who are listening to us on Dota TV can go click on that. Meanwhile, we'll be appropriate. Why am I being the appropriate
I'm just
one out of
echoing
us?
Zai's sentiments. Now everyone's curious.
Yeah,
Look
but
what you've done to it.
you won't be able to do it. Maybe later on they'll show us the wonderful effigy. But that wasn't meant to be it. That was meant to be, I saw on Reddit, it was meant to be a Bloodseeker one, not that.
I like this one more personally.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Now we're actually showing it. So thank you very much, Weppers, who is our observer for the game.
Which block is it that is red? Heroic effigy of the Fall 2016 Battle Pass, level 2. Interesting. Anyways.
Yeah, back to the game. So no surprise really coming out from Evil Geniuses. They are going to be pretty standard with their lanes. The only thing they're changing up a little bit is the fact they're putting Dark Tier up at the top lane and letting Artesian Crit run that duel off. Potentially even Tri-Lane off, but I doubt Zai's going to hang around there for too long. He's probably just there to contest the rune.
Yeah, and they can also pressure the Terrorblade in the mid, I think, very easily. Lena, one of the better ones, just tons of damage, tons of range, and can easily harass the Terrorblade, especially if there's a setup stun from the Slaughter in the back. So bottom lane will be EG's rune, and looks like the top right-click war went to Mind Control.
Victory.
Victory is his.
Yeah.
See how Terrorblade has a different color?
Yes.
Dude.
Yeah, we had the white Arcana in our series earlier today, for those who were tuning in for us then.
White is not the correct term that you could search on the Steam market for, Toby.
What was the correct term?
I think it was,
it was a 50
crystalline something.
A $50 gem is what it was.
You sound so disdainful of cosmetic buyers.
It's just like, I'm going to spend so much money so I can glow a different color. To rub yourself.
Some of them look way cooler, though. Some of them have, like, unusual effects, and it's not just color. There's particle effects, too, Toby.
Uh-huh. Let's add more of those. When I can change the color of my Enigma, I will spend a lot of money on it.
There is already one for the Enigma, the black hole.
No, yeah, but the black hole is just the same color. Like, I want to have
It's
the
golden.
gem.
How's it gold? One's black, one's golden. It's called black hole, Toby. Gold is different.
That's not enough. And technically, the original one was blue.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. I'm a traditionalist. And I'm going to make it better.
Maybe you play on, like, super low graphics or something.
Yeah, because, you know, I only play on a potato machine. I don't get to have nice things. Anyway, back in the game. So the lane's still going pretty much as expected. Kuro, okay, he's forced a little bit out of position now, having to run down the river, but he's got the movement speed on Zai and Samel, just couldn't connect on the Light Strike array. So Kuro will get hit once by Zai, and then be away to safety. But Kuro just trying to make life very difficult for Samel in the early game. Actually, his GH, they don't really have enough damage here to kill off Zai, and Zai does know that. He's already going to go for the regeneration. But just more harassment to push him out of their jungle.
I think it's important that the Lich does deny the mid lane, though. Top lane is a one-on-one. You don't really need to upset the balance of it. Centaur will be fine. Darkster will be fine. You're only just going to pretty much deny the one creep and not change the state of the lane. I think in the mid lane, Lina is already slightly favored, and they're trying to get some kills. Yeah,
Well, what a wonderful counter to a life stealer, having that ghost bomb, but maybe not enough life. Matolman back out of the tower, Fairy Fire committed, and the last bit of damage, he drops to 9 HP, but will still survive.
Wow.
Salve intact too, so he's going to still be able to stay in the lane.
He canceled that right click on the life stealer. That would have been a kill.
Obviously not as far in the bag as Arteezy thought it was.
Yep. No Blightstone or Orb of Venom. I do like the orbs. The stacking slows, the Poison Touch and the Orb is quite nice, and the Blightstone on pretty much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't even buy that from the side shop anymore.
Sometimes I guess you can start off with it, but I guess Crit wouldn't because he's support. He did start off with a Windlace, so Windlace for Blightstone, maybe. I don't know. It's debatable. It depends on what you think you're going to be doing a lot.
Yeah. Well, Mind Control's getting some decent levels up on the top lane. 4 levels in 3 minutes, not too shabby. Even the CS, like 11 for 2.
Zai has no home. Where is this big fishy going?
Well, he's meant to be synergizing with the Darkseer. That was the purpose of it. But normally that synergy works when you're on the off lane, not on the safe lane.
You can't kill a Centaur.
Yeah.
You'll just stun and run away.
Yeah.
And there's that shrine still up, so.
Yeah, what else can you really do? Like stand next to him and just try and Iron Shell burn him down? That's only going to work once the Darkseer hits level like 2 or 3.
Yeah, he just needs to get some levels. He is not level 2 yet on Zai. Just keep getting bounty runes. Try and deny that from the opposite team if you can. But we do see Zai purchase a smoke along with his boots. Soul Ring already picked up by Universe 2. I see that coming on Chicken. A lot of stuff on that.
But Topman's being initiated again. But GH is in the neighborhood. So very happy to turn around if he can. Arteezy. He's not going to be able to bait that rage out. But Arteezy's now sitting at a point too where 185 mana to get his combination off, both rage as well as that open wounds. He doesn't have enough anymore.
He might need a stick early in the lane too, because when you're up against a Crystal Maiden team, I think stick gets even more value, especially because every time you use open wounds on the Necrophos, he's gonna Ghost Shroud, so you need some return for
It's
your
good positioning
investment.
from Crit. Now, that Dire Observer Ward saw this smoke coming. So Crit moves up. He actually tanks the initial Frost Blast. There's 3 Kuros, and GH also there to help out. Matubman staying in close, and it will be first blood. So EG, they saw this coming. They willingly kept Crit there, and now it's up to Miracle to survive up against Zai. Even with the mirror, it won't be enough. Zai will barely survive as he slithers away from the mid lane, and he found a home.
That was a good smoke. I didn't exactly see his positioning, but it was very important that he actually did something. Yeah, he can stack and pull on top, but he had already exhausted the 3-minute pool, and there wasn't that much for him to do after grabbing the bounties. So that's a good kill. They'll get something in return for the first blood. And Zai actually moving down to the bottom lane. Looks like Dazzle will be TPing to the Shrine. I like how he TPs to the Shrine too. In case they need some more backup, it's faster to TP to the T1, faster and closer.
And then when you bring Universe down here, so what is gank into lane switch? As GH very quickly on the Frostbite, but Arteezy going to rage up, and there's your crush. They want Matubberman. Has to go into Ghost form, starts his TP, but Universe, the early point up in Vac, is able to cancel that one out. Matubberman will fall. 4 heroes from EG. They come in force. They take the kill.
They also cancel his TP, so he is going to need a long time to get back to lane.
Can GH? Oh, GH should be able to stay on the lane still.
You still want your Necrophos to get a lot of farm, though. Necrophos, I think, needs to be very big in this particular game. Looks like he's just eyeing for HP with the Belt of Giant Strength.
That TP finally comes in. Like all that time, I was thinking like, oh, Necrophos not farming up in the bottom lane, but no one from EG went straight to top lane. Now Lifestealer will move up there. So Arteezy will have that safe lane farm to build into Armlet and whatever else his heart desires.
We've seen a lot of the Lifestealer versus Terrorblade commit for all physical, which I am actually pretty against in this situation. I like the Maelstrom build a lot more. I think it scales a little bit better because you can just Mjolnir yourself later and walk in with Rage and do a ton of damage, and it helps with your main issues.
That's a level 2 Frost Blast. They're going to commit the Stampede to try and catch up to Zai, looking for that extra bit of damage as well, but Zai back up into the lane. No support was coming to help him out. But they do burn Stampede Team Liquid in a hunt for just that 4th position slaughter.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot committed for them. And
meanwhile, the mid lane stays safe.
Terrorblade's gone to the jungle, so even if they do want to gank mid, it's not going to be a big kill. And Sumail's not able to get as much farm as he would like just because of this constant harass and denying.
Oh, this is just like, it's the jealous sister who brings a friend to actually help win the mid fight. Fire versus ice.
Sorry, I was
I know. I look over to your screen and all I see is you just looking at Sumail's cosmetic.
He has the new Laguna Blade icon. I was like, what is that Laguna Blade icon? But apparently it's from a cosmetic.
It does look pretty epic. It's like this. It's almost like an Iron Man like shield thing in the chest. Mind Control, a little bit of damage. They're trying to slow him down, and Mind Control very smartly starts his TP. If he waited any longer, he would have died to the rotation from Sumail. Instead, that'll be up to GH to do. Running away, Zai close behind, but Sumail still has enough physical damage to do the work all by himself.
Sumail's also going for a different build. We've seen almost exclusively Arcane into Soul Ring into Bloodstone, but he's going for the phase boost. So more right click. A lot of times when we have seen the Lina, there has been some way to buff up her damage. This game, Amplify, I guess it's just about it, but
the run forward. Again, the Stampede going to be used, and nothing Zai can do about that. Goro will be the man to get the last hit. A little bit of a chase from GH to Sumail. GH able to deny up the regeneration rune at the 6-minute mark, and now at the 8-minute mark, unable to deny the double damage rune for the Lina. But yeah, Bloodstone Lina, the immortal Lina, is going to be what we've seen through most of the tournament. Now she is going to go in for that Yule Scepter with the face boots.
I like Eels a lot versus Stampede. It's also really good against the Necrophos, too, and deal with them during the Ghost Route. Also dispels a lot of the minor stuff to Ice Armor will get rid of.
Mind Control trying to cause some issues for EG. He's got a little bit of help floating around. It's mainly Kuro who's back up next to Secret Shop. And Mind Control's going in very deep. He leaves the Radiant Observer Ward behind, so he's got at least a little bit of a warning system if someone does run at him. But without the Stampede, Mind Control could be in trouble. Just commit the Laguna Blade. Sumail with a double damage rune knows he's got enough damage to kill off that Centaur.
He was in really, really deep. And Centaur actually going back for the Hood build, too. So no early blink coming out from them. He definitely wants to tank up. And Hood only for Double Edge and Lina, pretty much. So I'm a little surprised to actually see him commit for the full Hood instead of just a casual cloak or go for the Blink Rush. But it also helped him farm a lot more. He'll have...
Help him when Darkseid is ever in his lane.
Yeah, that's true. Ion Shell is definitely something to worry about.
And it has been the standard build anyway. He can convert it into a pipe later on if they feel the desire.
I don't think you need pipe this game. There's not any big AoE ultimates that you're worried about. Wall, I suppose, but Wall doesn't do any magic damage.
GH. He doesn't have his ulti yet, so it's not a guaranteed kill, but they got a hell of a lot. Actually, they do have Matomas, but he doesn't have mana. He's short by 10 points of mana, even with a Crystal Maiden on the field. Universe will start off his TP. Oh, they lost the sight of him! Walked into the corner. Not certain if Frostbite was up, but it's a pretty good chance it was.
That's what happens when you click a little bit past him. I think he clicked like a little bit to the southwest and then like tried to path in there, and then he ran outside. He didn't actually like click small increments into where he thought he might hide. He didn't actually think he'd TP right there.
That's a good get out of jail free card for a Darkseer. Now Sumail with the Iron Shell burst. Matubberman.
Wow, he was so close to popping that ghost shot before the Laguna. Nice try though to get the Ion Shell on him before.
It's like Zai's also ready to dive in here. He knows there's no support coming in from the jungle thanks to the Observer Ward. Now GH comes up. He still has his Frostbite plus his Nova, so he can keep Slider slowed up. But that Arcane Rune, you just keep moving forward. Another Crush available. A 6-second cooldown on that thing, and GH will fall with the help of Crit and Universe. A lot of pressure being applied by EG on the bottom, but Miracle. The Terrorblade. Normally we're talking about Terrorblades forcing down buildings really early on, but we're 11 minutes in and still no Tier 1 tower fallen. He's just playing it very consistent, very safe, and still sitting at #1 in the net worth.
They're trying to eke them out in the experience department. It's pretty close in terms of net worth, but experience, Radiant side is pretty far ahead because Terrorblade shifted to the jungle, so someone's taking the lane, and they have to sacrifice on the Lich. So it's not looking great in the.
Is that when you look to see like EG then start to invade the jungle more? Maybe that's what Universe is.
Once Lena's ready,
to do.
Lena needs her Yules before she can. It's not great to fight before your Yules. I guess you can get some like now and then, but it's just not going to be as easy and simple and guaranteed.
So the pressure is actually on Lena to do the attacking, because we're looking at Arteezy farming top lane, building into Echo Saber next.
Well, the other
he's getting a lot of space there, but when does that money become utilized into kills?
Once Slaughter gets Blink, but Slaughter's support. He's had to run around a lot and die for his team, so that's when you need the Lena to create a little bit of space. But she has a haste rune, probably can make big plays off that.
Stampede being triggered. More of a defensive thing as Kuro is being approached by Zai.
But you notice Zai doesn't even have a Quelling Blade, and definitely not an Iron Talon. So you can see they were wanting to get gold through kills and not farm up the map at all. And he can even Ion Shell the Slardar if they want to get some more last hits on him, but I don't think that's their game plan at all. They want to try and take advantage of Terribly while he's still weak.
That's a good Observer Ward. It scouted out the fact that Sumail is rotated down to the bottom lane. So again, the Tubberman is forced into the tree lines. The Centaur TPing in, and they've got the control. It's in the form of the Crystal Maiden. She needs to get the Frostbite off as Sumail gets a double stun. Lacuna Blades out. Able to bring down the Crystal Maiden, but now Sumail is on the run. The Chain Frost, it only really gets the slow out of it. Another TP being used, but Tubberman committing the ultimate. They need another stun, however, and they actually have the damage instead of mind control with a double edge to kill off Sumail, ending that dominating spree of his.
Another good thing about Lena this game is that her talent can innately counter the Reaper's Scythe. And she's a core, so she's actually quite likely to get Reaper Scythe this game. Grave can save you, but let's say Grave doesn't, you can be back in 30 seconds. And unfortunately for Sumail, Lena was not level 10. She was like level 9 and like 90% the way through right before that fight.
And the Hand of Midases begin. I think we had our first one, if I saw correctly, over on Necro. Yep, but Tubberman's already got his, and I think Kuro was also having one in his quick buy at the moment. So Team Liquid are ready to batten down the hatches and just win this game on experience and gold still. And they're going to get a big injection of money once the towers start dropping, aka when Terrorblade really starts pressing the issue.
I don't really mind that philosophy from Liquid. I think it's...
Oh, crit. Gets away from the hoof stomp, hides under the cover of the Invis rune. And just for safety, he even ran into the pit.
I think it's the right approach from Liquid, that all they need to worry about is the Terribly getting big. And once he gets like Manta plus Butterfly or Manta Scotty, something like that, then they'll be near unstoppable in the team fights just because they don't have enough firepower to deal with the illusions.
All right, so GH now has found the perfect way to counter push on his creep way on the lane. Okay, maybe not perfect, but it works.
Yeah, it works. They were looking to set up potentially for a kill there. They also have good vision on the right side of the map, so they could easily smoke behind, and I think he's a little bit worried about that.
That's a lot of pressure on the top, and you see the line actually being drawn out. Crystal Maiden just draws out and says, you know what, guys, like anything north of this line is really not safe for me at the moment. EG could be hunting anywhere around that secret shop area into the tier 1 tower, and they do have 4 people in position. The only one not present is going to be Universe in the bottom lane on that Darkseer. Samael and Arteezy can do more than enough work just to go tower after tower, but the mid lane pressure is also arriving from Team Liquid, and Samael already there to return. An attack in. If Mind Control was thinking about a blink, then it instantly got cancelled when the Salve connected.
Mind Control's quite farmed. He has Hood and the...
Oh, now this one's easier. Blink forward. Matubman potentially could have thrown down the ulti for that, but they let it go. Basic kill for Mind Control.
Not super important for him. But they're just taking it slow. They're, I guess, up in the other metrics. Maybe not so much net worth, but the Midas will start kicking in pretty soon. I don't know. Lich is kind of strange in that aspect too. You're like really strong in the early game, but your talents are like pretty lackluster. The right-click build is just atrocious.
What,
it sounds good, but
it was fantastic before, right?
It was never there before. No,
really?
It sounds good in theory, but it's just so awful. There's so many things that just stop Lich from being a good right-clicker. That, like, no matter what items you get, I think a 6-slotted Lifesteal will always be able to just manhandle a 6-slotted Lich. Like, no question about it. So it's just not that great. I wonder what talents he is going to go for, though.
EG want to keep pressuring right now in the mid. They've already committed their weave to this. It's going to wear off in a couple of seconds. GH is the one that they could potentially jump on just because they had the vision of the high ground. It was good patience from the Slaughter, making sure he didn't just amplify up the Crystal Maiden, because it would have revealed the high ground vision.
They just need to get the blink on Slaughter. They need the kills to be quick and clean. If they go, if it takes too long for them to get the kills, then Terrorblade will be able to think about potentially like even a defensive Sunder could save someone from like a Lina combo, or Centaur's gonna stampede in and counter initiate. They just need like a quick blink, crush, infest kill. If they try to set up with a Yules, that's 2.5 seconds too long for the setup.
I'll give him one of those camps as well as the bounty rune, and he'll have it. It's only 200 gold to have that blink dagger.
Feeds eye.
If it's possible. GH is just playing in the trees on that top lane. He's so close to Arteezy. If he gets caught out, like, he just throws the ulti out. Arteezy will take the damage and look for the fight. Mind Control now running forward. Arteezy, that rage. Oh, the Necro ulti's going to be there. They'll cancel off the TP. With the double edge, they'll find the kill. Was GH the ultimate bait?
Yeah, I like the way he's using his freezing field. There's not any team fights going on. It's not like he doesn't really. It's not like he needs it for that. He could farm neutrals with it, but he's pushing out the lanes and pressuring the Lifestealer. Lifestealer doesn't have a free place to farm. It's got baited in. Only actually, there's 2 ways to stop the Rage TP too, with the Chain Frost in the game. So, not the safest game for Lifestealer to farm out. Far, far away from his team.
Samael is just wishing he can find pickoffs like that.
Okay, there's the Blink Dagger. This is time.
Yep, but they just smoked right on top of the Observer Ward. So, while the time might be nice, Team Liquid can be very prepared for this. They have a dire Observer Ward up, so EG have the vision. They see that Matubman is lagging behind at the moment. So they're trying to pick off the back of the pack. Is there some kind of saving? Matubman goes into Ghost form. More support is there, but with the Holstopper double edge, Zai is unhealthy. Crit tries to keep him up. They can turn this one around now. Team Liquid, they turn their attention towards Arteezy. Zai back in with a crush. They're doing the damage, but it's into a Mind Control who just got his Stampede back off cooldown. As they scurry themselves, Team Liquid, back past their own Tier 2 tower.
That was a really tough call from EG. They saw the heroes running away, so they knew that Liquid knew, but they tried to actually catch them off guard with the massive movement speed from the Slaughter. He had Sprint on him, he had Smoke on him, and then he eventually had Surge on him too. So the timing from the Smoke was a little bit earlier than Liquid anticipated. But the trade-off is that your team is not close to you. So like Lina was nowhere to be found to get that little bit of extra burst on a Necrophos. But
Liquid are coming.
Yeah,
Liquid have the Observer Ward out the front of the pit, so they understand what's actually happening. Mind Control. This is a lot of patience. Roshan's almost down. Now the Hoof Stomp and Double Edge. Roshan so low on life. He'll clap down. Mind Control's dying. The Lagoon Lunar Blade will actually kill him off, meaning that EG will secure Roshan. Maybe GH. No, the interruption. The vac will pull him down. Matobaman does have the space to get back up towards the Radiant Ancients, and GH with his control. Kuro, no ultimate available, so he'll take the stun as well as the death for Team Liquid. The tier 1 tower not close enough to give him that protection. And Sumail will have the double kill. EG claim Roshan and Aegis.
There was no follow-up from Liquid. Necrophos doesn't have a Blink Dagger because he did go for the Midas, and that trade-off was huge in that. If he could have blinked and Reapered anyone inside the pit, either the Lina or the Lifestealer, I think they would have come out pretty far ahead in that fight, because then they can't burst down the Necrophos because he has all that regeneration going for him. Also, Lina misclicked Yules on herself during that fight, and that could have potentially led to like 3 kills instead of just 2.
Still haven't felt Terrorblade. Like, that fight happened without him. Terrorblade just stayed inside the jungle, farming the entire time.
Generally, Terrorblade's fight once they get Manta style, and I think he's very close to that Manta style. I think, yeah, he just picked it up, so now he'll be ready to fight. It's a really big increase in damage once you get that.
Do you actually force it yourself? Like, for now, it seems to be EG who have been the ones smoking. They've been going around. Like, they went in for Roshan, so they are the ones to initiate that. Obviously, Liquid don't really have a great Roshan lineup, but is this the point when Liquid just say, you know, we force down a lane? Like, I see the ping coming to the tier 1 tower at the top lane. Is that the next place it goes? You just mow down lane after lane and wait for EG to engage into you?
I think you take at least 1 tower with the Terrorblade. You might not even have to commit meta. It depends on if you have to commit meta or not. If they're not defending with anything, you can just go for 2. But it's very risky because Lina did not go for the respawn timer.
Yeah.
It's you know,
It's different to most of the Linas we've seen, but most of those Linas have also been coming out from the Chinese teams.
Yeah, he's much more aggressive. I'm not gonna die.
Still building Bloodstone though, but
he does have the Grave to help him out a lot. So
yeah,
I think that's a.
So the trade-off is you just get the Light Strike array, but that could bite you in the butt later in the game.
It does help you 2-shot creep waves though. Normally you need to Light Strike and Dragon Slave a little bit more.
And so that push is coming on the top, and Metamorphosis still has not been committed by Miracle.
Yeah.
Just illusion spam after illusion spam. EG is not getting involved.
Fighting into Aegis is just not a terribly wise idea.
They're actually TPing out. So EG is just running through the Radiant jungle. So they let the illusions and the catapult do the damage into the tier 2 tower, and then prepare their own defense, Team Liquid. And Zai wants to fight. The infested Lifestealer sitting inside the Slaughter. But they need the opportunity. They need the vision, which they don't have on that part of the tower. They'll get it when Matobaman jumps forward like that, but then Horfstop, Arteezy already raged up. The Stampede, Matobaman will survive. The Vac almost killing him with the damage on the wall, but it isn't enough. Zai has to take the Shallow Grave as he was taking the tower too much. And then Miracle, now he'll commit the Metamorphosis.
That was really risky by Liquid. They didn't even have the Frost Armor on the Necrophos before that fight. Started, but he has all that burst heal with the Ghost Shroud and the double heal from the mech and the Death Pulse. But yeah, they already used meta, so they can't really get anything off of it.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why he did. Like, Miracle used that after the fight happened. So it's almost like you're either using this for farm or you think that this fight is still going to happen from EG. Which Sumail is trying it. Yule's up. Here comes your Terrorblade, looking over towards Universe. Zai does get a good crush off, but so does Mind Control. A double versus a 1 and GH, the perfect positioning. They put the Slardar down. Arteezy sunned it out, and with the Chain Frost, the damage is huge. EG, he infests into the one creep that's running next to him. Sumail did the damage to it. It was going to die anyway to the dire creep wave that was coming in. But Lifestealer will fall. The Blink Dagger is now followed by Matobaman, and 3 heroes with no buyback available. Team Liquid will push to the tier 2 tower potentially.
Just not enough burst for the Terrorblade at that point because Lina had already committed her spells earlier to try and kill the Necrophos. So they just did not have enough.
They got so close though when they did it. No, it's just before this fight happened.
Yeah. So she already committed her volley to try and go for Miracle, and then Miracle gets a Sunder off like near half HP onto Arteezy.
Yeah. And Arteezy couldn't remain up. Like when that first Horf Stomp came in, he had to rage to try and dodge what was coming at him. And then just executed at the end.
Yeah, they just used too many cooldowns to not kill the Necrophos that first time. So he actually did go for the Maelstrom over the Dezo, which I think is pretty important for him to go into the later game. I think Deza would have been a big mistake versus the. You could also potentially, I think, go Diffusal versus Necrophos to deal with the Ghost Shroud, but Diffusal is terrible versus the Terrorblade. So I think Maelstrom's a kind of nice mix where you can deal with the Terrorblade illusions and you can still deal decent damage against the Necrophos.
What do you think about the pickup of the Aether Lens onto Sumail? So
Aether Lens is really good on Lina. It makes the Dragon Slave ridiculously long, and it helps in two-shotting creep waves, which helps your efficiency a lot. So, and I like it. The Dragon, even the cast range of the Light Striker Way is really, really good. You don't really want to be that close to the fight because he's going to get Reapered a lot of the time.
Yep.
And you definitely want to keep your distance against a Terrorblade. Like, imagine you're sitting on your high ground and Terrorblade illusions are over there. You just want to be able to spam out without being really at risk for Centaur being able to initiate on you before. Even CM could initiate on you at that point. So, Aether Lens is. The only problem is he might have to replace it pretty soon.
This looks too good. Like, well, the support was sort of nearby, but I think you can see from Sumail's hesitation to take that fight. It's not a gank for him. Universe can try and pull GH back, try and bring him in range of the double Iron Shell and GH. Well, he's been bait before. Universe has his own pipe to give him a little bit of protection. There's no other stun, or is there? No, there isn't.
Ooh,
The Tubberman was trying to go for the scythe to cancel it.
That was really close.
Even the Stampede being used to try and close the distance, but the Stampede came too late.
Yep. It seemed like he didn't really take any damage from that freezing field, too. It was a level 2 freezing field committed by the Crystal Maiden.
He triggered pipe.
Yeah.
Any kind of protection.
Pipe is really good for Dire Side. Good against Necrophos, Chain Frost, CM.
Just got to avoid being locked down.
Yeah.
Actually seeing Universe too, like I'm always a big fan of Universe having the big playmaker style heroes. That's why it's always great to see him play a Clockwork. Good mileage. And in this game, he's actually going in for a Shiva's Guard deck. So there's no Blink Dagger. There's none of this like jump and team fight control coming from Universe, as opposed to just it's kind of like more the run at you or counter initiation, which he brings.
I wonder what he's going to go after. It looks like Shiva's on the Darkseer.
Yeah.
I have heard talks of an Echo Saber on the Darkseer with the plus damage talent. He has 120 damage talent at 15. He didn't get it this game. He got the health regen instead.
So you crap on the Lich DPS build, but you're all for a Darkseer DPS build.
Darkseer can actually get in there. He's tanky. And he's like kind of ignored in the fights after you cast your Vacuum Wall. Whereas a Lich, I don't know. You can't get Echo Saber unless you can get Dragonlance, but it's still pretty poor. I don't know. And he has like at least some mobility with Surge. It helps you farm. I don't know. It's it was theory crafted. I never said it was good. I'm saying it's a possibility.
Yeah, the crazy thing is, though, when you come up with theories, they normally become reality.
He has a Weave and Amplify.
Yeah, but he would survive for a while. There is no doubt about that. And EG are looking for more damage. But for the moment, he's going to go for teamfight control as the Universe style of control.
It's too late to commit after you've taken the 14 health regen talent. 14 health regen is a lot, but 120 damage is also a lot of damage.
It always feels weird, though, when you see the 14 health regen talent over on a Darkseer when you have your Tranquils and you've got your pipe. So your regeneration, like you see him sitting at 35 a second already.
Yeah, that's the thing. Normally the 120 damage I think might be a little bit better, but
yeah.
You know.
It just feels like you're just lacquering on a hell of a lot more, almost to a point where you have the Darkseer running around with the equivalent of a heart. Just obviously not as powerful, but still.
It's also just a good item to get after you have your teamfight items in your Blink, and then what? Normally you'll see like Shiva's or Scythe or something like that, but I think Echo Saber is actually like a good transitioning.
What is that courier doing there? It's just sitting. It's the Radiant Courier sitting up at the side shop on the top lane.
Looks like someone's trying to finish their something.
Yeah. What can you buy from the side shop? Unless you're keeping it there instead of having the secret shop. Anyway, we'll jump back into the fight. Hoof stomp straight forward. You already lost Zai. Arteezy will pop out, but with that fresh Skadi over on Miracle, Arteezy has no chance to run away. The Shallow Grave will protect him from that Reaper's Scythe, but it will not protect him from the Underworld. He'll be put down 1 minute without the life stealer, and Roshan is just about 35 seconds short of maximum spawn time. Liquid are not catching a break on the back of that fight win.
Meta's going to be down by the time Lifestealer respawns. So, yeah, Terrorblade's gotten to that point. He's uninterrupted free farm for like 25, 30 minutes that he's on top of the net worth, and he's pretty much unstoppable when it's the metas and mantas, and we just saw Slaughter get destroyed. Yeah.
It didn't help that when his initiation came in, he was counter-initiated on first.
Yep.
So there was nothing that was really going to save him there.
There was no good target for him to jump anyways. But yeah, Roshan definitely going to be the next target. I would say that EG can sneak it in pretty easily because of the Amplify. I think they did build a medallion. There is a medallion on Dazzle, so that definitely will speed it up by a few seconds.
I'm actually so happy to see Darkseer change this one. And I'm wondering if Universe has done that just because of this timing of Roshan. He's picked up the Blink Dagger on the Darkseer. So he's going to have that positional advantage now. At the same time, Fresh shot him up for Team Liquid. That Aghanim Scepter is now on the Necro. And in goes EG. Once again, the Observer Ward sees everything. But the Weave triggered nice and early, so Liquid want to fight this one. They're going up against ever-increasing armor. Scatting out with the illusions. Roshan is just being punched one by one by one. They don't want to commit. Matabaman's going to jump in. Who's going to get it? Dai will take it, and Arteezy gets the Aegis, but the double stop, and then back into a three-man wall is perfect. Mind Control barely alive. It's only the Necro to drop. Okay, he'll actually die almost to the fall. But it'll be Arteezy's poor swipe, cleaving the flesh from Mind Control's hide.
Yeah, Miracle didn't have meta. He's really reluctant to go in without meta, as you can see in a lot of these fights, and it really costs them. Arteezy pre-raged, so they couldn't really stop him, unless they wanted to Reaper him during the Roshan kill. I actually think that might have been worth it if they were able to sneak the Aegis onto the pretty much any of those heroes, Centaur or Necrophos, before ideally the Necrophos, and then Lifestealers without his rage with no one to infest near the pit. But that was a... that's really unfortunate for Liquid with the Roshan respawn, though.
Yeah. Liquid have to try and now defend as EG have the advantage. Still 20 seconds before Liquid are back at full strength with 5 players. And the damage from that almost sniper-like Lina brings the tier 3 tower down to 50%, and EG will back up. They're happy with this. They haven't brought down the tower yet, so they can't start taking out shrines.
Arteezy needs a way to heal up. He's not really in fighting shape right now. A Blink Reaper could catch him off guard and just kill him. He does have the Aegis, I suppose, so unlikely that he's actually going to be focused down on the next fight. So first fight was Liquid with meta. The fight where Liquid won, the fight that EG won, there was no meta. So need to see a fight on even terms. I guess EG has the Aegis now, so not completely even. 10% magic resistance plus 5% spell amp. Necrophos' job is actually just to survive in fights.
Yep.
Your Heartstopper is like half your damage.
Oh, resistance makes sense then going up against the Lina.
Yeah. But at this point, though, they might be more willing to focus everything onto the Terrorblade. So they might need more damage output from the Necrophos because Terrorblade is such a high priority in the fights.
Well, now the Terrorblade's finished up the Butterfly. They have to use all the magical burst damage to try and bring him down.
Yeah.
There's still 2.5k life they have to get through.
They really need to Ags on Centaur. If they once they get Ags on Centaur, Terrorblade should be able to get a Sunder off most of the time.
Yeah, but you see what he's also building into. Even though it's got nerfed, he's still going to enjoy the range for it. The Hurricane Pike is the other build coming in for the Terrorblade. So once he completes that, he'll have the distance play against the Lifestealer.
It's going to be really tough to... I think it's tough for both sides. It's tough for Terrorblade to actually survive to get his Sunder off, and on the Dire side, it's really hard to like chain all their stuns properly. Like if he's low, they could potentially like Yules him to another stun. Do they have the coordination to do that, or they go? Like,
Centaur, Stampede, Horf Stomp. They found a big target as Sumail. Shallow Grave will make sure that the Scythe won't do its work. Sumail will still die. 30 seconds on the sideline. But no buyback available, and it looks like Liquid are saying, you know what, let's actually get a tower we should have taken maybe 20 minutes ago. That bottom tier 1 tower.
They'd have to backdoor it, though. There's no creep wave at all.
Luckily, no backdoor tier 1, so you're good there, bro. But mid lane push.
Lena's up in 15, though. So
yeah.
They'll get, like, what, 5-10 seconds.
Wait, they got Metamorphosis as well. Another
actually, yeah.
quick crush.
They had meta on it.
Yeah. They didn't have to commit anything really for it, so now you just push in, look to the tier 3 tower. Glyph not really available. They actually do bring it down, so this will open up the outside shrines.
This is where you ask whether or not the 80 Light Striker rate damage was worth the
30 seconds
timer.
miss time.
Yeah.
He would have been up 4 seconds after he died, but Tubman's going to get Glimmer caped up. Still has to stick around. Wants the Blink Dagger to come off cooldown, and it will. Blinks away at the same time as Zai jumps forward. He held on to that for half a second. almost baiting out the initiation from Zai.
Zai was waiting for him to blink, and then he was going to blink and chase after him. So that was a really good play by Matumba to not put his team in a really compromising position. It could have been really bad. They were really close to their shrine and just not really in a good position to fight, although they did still have meta up on Miracle.
Someone's been stocking tomes. I think I just saw 3 purchased up by the Lich.
I'm trying to see if anyone's close to an important talent. I don't think so on the Radiant side.
Does he use them all? Is Kuro now just going to like skyrocket himself up? So he'll go from just shy of 16. And he's 17 and a quarter with the Laguna Blade. But Tolman's still going to tank through the initiation of EG. And Miracle, he wants to fight this. Metamorphosis again. That damage from range. Zai's got no way to run away from this. They even trigger off the Stampede. And they get the scythe down too. 80 seconds without Zai. You'll remove the Dazzle. Both supports lost for EG. And both do not have buyback. This should be mid-racks.
Meta's committed. Let's see how long is left on meta. It's half duration, so still have a good 20 seconds on it. And
They bring in, how far away is that creep wave?
There actually is a glyph up the
It's
dire
still
side.
a long way away. So this time, like, the backdoor regeneration is going to be a bit of a problem. A little bit of a problem until you get the Vac Wall, double Light Strike Array. Miracle is dropping quickly. He's got the Sunder available. Trades alive with Universe. Universe searches himself away back past the tier 4 towers. Another Light Strike Array control from Samael. Stopping Miracle from attacking. He's going to walk back through his own wall. Laguna Blade, but Tumberman barely surviving. The Light Strike Array will connect. He's held in position. He still needs to survive. Maybe with the Hoof Stomp, the damage from the side. They bring down Arteezy, but the cost is still the Necro. Universe once more. Surge forward. The Yule Scepter up. Light Strike Array. A little bit of miscommunication on the timing as GH invis thanks to his own little Glimmer Cape. The Sentry Ward doesn't reveal him, and GH the TP. They don't know. They don't get him inside the trees. GH will get away by the skin of his teeth.
Oof. They allowed the Terrorblade to get Thunder off that fight. I think he probably could have used them and then waited for another stun cooldown, but that would have been a really big kill on Miracle. And they trade the big cores, Necrophos for the Life Stealer. I don't think that was actually a Reaper kill because they're both respawning at the same time. He did have a sliver of health right before he hit the deck, but I don't even think they had to fight there. I think they could have waited a little bit because there was still backdoor regen on the range racks.
But you could see the amount of damage the Terrorblade was pumping in. Maybe they just was like, okay,
they saw
have
Glyph.
enough.
They saw Glyph though.
Okay.
So
well, we're going to watch it again anyway. So this is Matumbaman escaping at the very, very start. A lot of control.
And just a severe lack of detection too. Like they have no sentry wards to make a quick and easy kill on the Necrophos, and then no sentry wards for the Crystal Beta until a little bit too late. They dropped it right when she left that area.
I'm not sure if we actually flagged it during the middle of that fight too. The Centaur picked up the Aghanim Scepter. He didn't use Aghanim's buff Stampede during it because it came after that point. But it's something to note for the next fight.
Terrorblade is going to be a problem. Same with Necrophos. These are heroes that you want to burst out. You have to burst them down very quickly, or else like Terrorblade's just going to rip into you.
He actually moved away from the Hurricane Pike. He had it in his quick buy before, but he gets a monkey. He gets an MKB instead.
Solar Crest is the only source of evasion. Let's see, Darkseer even went for the cast range talent, so no evasion there. Yeah, it's actually just for Solar Crest, I think.
Happy to have the mini bash.
Oh,
Hoof Stomp in towards the mid. They initiate onto Samael. Frostbite's out as well. A quick little Yule Scepter up. More defensive. And Miracle, he commits the Metamorphosis. So this has to be a push down the mid now.
That blink was so close to being canceled by that right click. That was... Samael was playing with fire there.
Yeah, we're in the same position again. This time, though, Team Liquid do have the aggressive Observer Ward and Sentry sitting inside the base of EG. The Sentries are placed, but of course, one committal of... Okay, yep, now he'll bring that one down. They lose the Observer Ward, a good Light Strike Array, plus the wall, so they can hold Miracle in position and then make it Miracle on Miracle action. And then with Laguna Blade, Miracle still down low, but Hoof Stomp, they're trying to catch one of them out. Miracle still doesn't have that target. He wants to sunder someone else. He already has. He doesn't have any more life. They have to push him away and use the scythe to hold Arteezy in position, but it's too late. Miracle will fall. Support is there with Zygain, the double crush. Mind Control will fall down too, and Kuro will join him. 3 heroes lost. No buybacks available again. This is going to happen.
What a
where EG have a window to push.
What a sick Lincoln's pickup by Sumail. He blinked in, Laguna him.
What is CM doing?
Oh my god. What
CM is still back at the base trying to creep skip this out. So Zai gets a first slide into Bash on GH. He's just trying to stall up time. He has buyback available. At least got Zai to move away, but really, 2-on-5, this could be difficult.
The item decisions from EG were really good this game too. Like, Miracle tried to turn around and right-click Arteezy, but he got hit by a Mjolnir lightning proc. It killed him. And then the Lincolns put Miracle in that position in the first place. And that's going to be an easy racks, likely 2 sets. And Miracle's still in the grave for 30 seconds. They got so much damage on the Miracle in that first wave. He was at like 50% before, and I'm not sure when the Stampede came out, but it was not when he was like at half HP.
Yeah, it felt very non-existent actually in the fights,
Yeah,
more than anything else.
That Lincoln Sphere. Oh,
So
that's
they
a
get
game-winning Lincoln Sphere right there.
They'll still end at 2 lanes of racks, so EG will back up. You cannot underestimate Team Liquid at this point. It's still a Terrorblade. Maybe next time he can push with a creep wave so backdoor regen doesn't stop it. But we might be getting to a point soon where Team Liquid are forced to do something a little bit more rash. As you can see, that swing just dives the way of the EG side.
They have to do something very soon. Roshan is, it just respawned. It's been 10.5 minutes since the last respawn, so.
The Illusion's scouting it out now.
Illusion's
so
got it.
Liquid
Dire also kind of knows that it's up. It's very high probability, like over 80% that it's up right now. So.
Well, Team Liquid can't really bring it down yet.
Oh, what did he TP back for?
Wait, yeah, did he go all the way? Dazzle
Yeah.
TP'd all the way back, and I think he did underneath the Illusion.
He TP'd back to get the Observer Wards, and Liquid, they are going to smoke up. Are they going to try and sneak Roche themselves? Doesn't seem like they really
And maybe
want
just
to.
smoked for movement speed to get back to Roshan. Like, Liquid ping out the fact that Roshan is up, but they're smoked up and waiting next to the shrine. So if EG come and they scuttle themselves to get over there, the smoke will break from both sides. Arteezy on the front lines, but Matoma and Mind Control, they miss their initiations, and a huge back wall from Universe, catching out 4 of them. Matoma and BKB will try and protect them, but they've already lost Koro. The Sun's on the back line. Maybe Miracle is the bigger one. Zai gets the crush. He's protected right now by the Lincoln Sphere, and Miracle, he needs a target. He'll have to sunder his own teammate, Mind Control, and the damage is still too much. Mind Control will jump back in again, but he was the sacrificial, very large lamb of meat. 3 heroes lost for Liquid. They're going to find as well GH in the tree lines. He's starting his TP. Now they see him. Now he's dead. 4 heroes gone for Liquid, and EG could end this right here, right now.
Beautiful vacuum wall from Universe to set up that fight. Arteezy actually has hid inside a wall of replica illusion for some of that fight too. They were trying to focus him down during the rage, but it took them way too long to do so. And
safety megas or is GG push?
Is GG.
And they'll realize there's no buybacks from Team Liquid, and Team Liquid will admit defeat in Game 1 of this 2-game series. EG, they have done it for Game 1.
I think the Alina really pieced it all together for them. I think Sumail played very, very well. A little bit risky with the Light Strike Array over the
It's okay.
They comboed very well though, like the Light Strike Array into Vacuum a couple of times that we saw, but the way he handled the Sunder was pretty incredible. He dumped the Lincolns on the Slaughter, and Miracle was like, everyone else is out of range, it's just Slaughter, and then he had to Sunder a teammate, which just leaves his teammate to die, and then everyone just runs in after the Sunder is up. That was